Good afternoon, everyone. I am Pavitra TS, working as an assistant professor in the Department of MCA, Mysore, MIT Mysore. Respected faculty members, welcome to the Day 3 session of FIDE FTP on Introduction to Python, organized by the Department of MCA, MIT M. I am here to introduce today's resource person. It's my privilege to introduce and welcome today's resource person, Professor Sharath H. Welcome you, sir.
Thank you.
He is serving as an assistant professor in the Department of Information Science and Engineering, MIT Mysore. He has a bachelor's degree in computer science and engineering and postgraduate in computer science and engineering. He is also qualified with NET and KCET. He has more than 10 years of experience in teaching field. It is indeed a great privilege of having you with us, sir, for this 5-day FTP. Thank you so much, sir, for accepting our proposal and being the part of our program. Now, I request Professor Sharath H.A. to deliver the lecture on the topic Introduction to Python, that is strings, list, and tuples. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. So, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Audible.
And now, without wasting our time, so let's move on to our topic. Today's topic is what data structure in Python. So under that, we'll be having what strings, list, tuples, sets, and dictionary. So actually, strings doesn't comes under data structure. Still, I have taken that under this data structure. Why? Because we have that similarities with list and tuples. Okay. So for that, okay, this is what the content today I'm going to discuss in the data type. Under data type, we'll be having what strings, and in under data structure, so list, tuples, sets, and dictionaries. So out of that, I'm going to cover only list and tuples in this session. So these are all what inbuilt data structures. So we'll be having what a few more user-defined data structures. So that are stats, queues, trace, graphs, linked list, and hash maps or hash tables. Okay. So what's the difference between inbuilt data structure and user-defined data structure, man? So inbuilt data structure, which is predefined in Python language itself, whereas user-defined, we can construct our own data structure by using the inbuilt data structure. So next, we'll move on to what data structure. We'll move on to what data structure. So here types of data structure. First one is strings. It's an immutable ordered sequence of characters. So that means we can store only characters in this data type. Okay. So next one is list. It's a mutable ordered sequence of objects. So is my screen visible?
Yes, sir, visible.
Okay, fine. Thank you. So in list, it's a mutable ordered sequence of objects. So I'll come to that. What is immutable, mutable, and ordered, unordered? So that I will cover that in the next slide. So immutable ordered sequence of objects. So there is a slight difference between a list and tuple. That one is mutable, another one is immutable. So and next one is what sets. It's a mutable ordered sequence of unique elements. That means unique means it won't allow duplicate elements in this data structure. That is sets. So and again, so next one is what frozen sets. It's a special kind of sets. So in this, we can't alter any values within this set. So that's why we call that as what immutable. So code for that example, I have written that in under that frozen sets. Here you can see that. So by using a constructor, so we can construct what frozen set. So once we made that set as what frozen, we can't change the value within that. So next one is what dictionaries. So it's a mutable unordered collection of value pairs. So that means here instead of a single value, we'll be having what a pair of values. So one is key value, another one is actual value. Okay, it's a mapping from key to value. So next, I have already used what some terminologies like ordered and unordered, mutable and immutable, right? Okay. So here you can see that first one is what ordered and unordered. So in order to make that as what very clear, so I'm going to take this example in net. Just a moment. I'll show you what's the difference between ordered and unordered. So ordered means index. Each and every element within that is associated with what index. That means whichever the order the programmer has assigned, so it will maintain the same order. Here you can see that. So as I already mentioned that string list tuples are what ordered list, whereas set is what unordered list. Sorry, unordered sequence, right? Okay. So here you can see that letters. So I had given what some sort of letters over here. So from A to Z, capital, small letters followed by what? Capital letters. Here, so in order to make it as what string, I'm calling this constructor called str. So str on what letters. So that means it will convert these letters as what string. I'm and assign that in what variable called string letters. Whereas like we have what a few more constructors. So this one is for what list. In order to construct a list, so we can call what this constructor list and tuple. So in order to construct what tuple and set for sets. Okay. So now if I try to print this string, so it's going to print as it is, which you are assigned here, because it will follow the same order. Okay. So you can see that in output. So small letters followed by capital letters. Is that right? So that means, and which order I'm going to insert, it will maintain the same order as when we are displayed or when we are coding. It will maintain the same order. Whereas in tuple also it will maintain the same order. So in sets, you can see here in sets, it won't maintain same order here. Okay, it will maintain what different order. So you can see here G come first, U come next, like that. Okay, so that is what the difference between ordered and unordered. That means each and every element in string list and tuples is associated with what index, whereas in unordered it doesn't associate with what index. So we can't access the elements based on the index in unordered set. Okay, unordered sequence. Whereas in a ordered sequence, we can access the elements by using what indexes. So example, string, list, tuples are what ordered, and in unordered, so sets and dictionaries. So next we'll move on to what the next topic, mutable and immutable. What do you mean by mutable and immutable? So mutable is nothing but the element after initialization, so we can change the objects within the data structure. Okay, so example is list, set and dictionary. That means, so after that we can modify the elements within the list, set and dictionary. Whereas immutable is nothing but, so changes is not possible with strings, tuples and frozen sets. As I've already mentioned that frozen sets. So once we frozen that set, we can't edit, we can't change the value within that. So then what's the use of immutable data structure means? So somewhere we need to use that as what fixed. For example, pi value, it doesn't change. It's a constant value, right? Like that. So it's similar to that. Okay. So like that, when we made some content read only, so then we will going to use what immutable. Immutable. Okay, whereas mutable means we can change that. So here are also some comparison between different types of data structure. So today I'm going to cover string, list, and tuples, whereas sets and dictionaries will be covered in the next session tomorrow. So string is what immutable, whereas list is what mutable, and tuples is what immutable. So sets and dictionaries are what mutable. That means wherever mutable is there, so we can change, we can modify that values in that data structure, whereas immutable means we can't modify it. Okay, so the purpose of immutable data structure is what? So in order to make data read only. So next one is whether it is ordered or unordered. String is what ordered, list is also ordered, tuple is also ordered, whereas sets and dictionaries are what? Unordered. So as I already mentioned that, so ordered means it will maintain what same order as we initialized in the initialized while creating. Okay, so whereas unordered, it doesn't maintain any sequence, it don't have any index. That means based on the index value, I can't fit the same value in that set, because so if I'll run for twice, thrice and all, so in all these cases you're going to get what different orders. Okay, in unordered set. Next one is what whether it will allow duplicates or not. Yes, in string, list, and tuples, I can store what duplicate values, whereas in sets and dictionaries, so it doesn't allow any duplicate values. That means, so in sets, as I already mentioned, it's a unique collection of data. So that means there is no duplication in that set. Whereas dictionary, so in that also we can't use what same value. Why? Because dictionary is a collection of pair of values. One is key, another one is value. So that when we'll be having key in that pair of values, right? So key should always be what unique. Okay, so that's why. So that dictionary is also can't be allow duplicate members. So this is what the empty string. In the third row, you can see that this is an empty string, empty list, empty tuples, empty set, and again empty dictionary. So whereas I want to initialize with a single value, so there is a slight difference between list and tuples. You can see that. So list without any extra comma here, whereas in a tuple, we'll be having one extra comma in order to tell that, so that this T is what? Tuple. Okay. So this is what the difference between different data structure, and what are all the value I can store in this structures means. In string, I can only store only characters. I can store only characters, whereas in list, so I can store integer, string, list, tuples, set, and dictionaries. Okay, so in tuples also we can store any sort of data in tuple, whereas in set, I can store only three possible values, that is int, string, and tuple. Okay, so we can't store what list within tuple, whereas we can store list within list and again tuple within list also. Okay, whereas in set, I can't store what list in sets. I can store only integer, string, and tuple. And again here in the dictionary, so key can be, so as I already mentioned, the dictionary has what pair of values, one is key, another one is value, right? Okay, so key can be only three values, that is integer, string, and tuples. Whereas value, so value could be anything, integer, string, or it might be what other data structures like list, tuple, sets, and dictionaries. Okay, so by looking into this slide, you may get what the difference between different data structure. So as I already mentioned, string is not a data structure, it's a data type. Since, okay, still we had that string with this thing. Why? Because we have some similarities between string and list and tuples. So string is a collection of character, whereas list and tuples is what? Collection of objects. Let's move on to what first data structure, string. Those who are familiar with other languages like C, C++, they all know this string, how exactly it works and all. Here, string, we don't have any particular data type, name and all here. So I want to make some variable as a string. So I need to initialize that variable name. Okay, so I have to initialize that variable name with some string, and that string should be within either single quote or double quote. As I've already mentioned here, string will be surrounded by a quotation mark, either by single quotation mark or double quotation mark. Both are same here. Okay, hello within single quote and hello within double quotes, both are same. In either way, I can initialize the variable, and as when you initialize that variable with a string, automatically that variable type becomes what? String itself. Okay, we don't have any extra keyword. We don't have any extra keyword in order to declare a string. Okay, simply we're going to initialize variable with a string. Next example. So I've taken s equal to hello world. So here s is what? The variable. S is what? A variable. And what about the user string? It's a hello world. Okay. So like a name equal to Sheriff. So that means here the variable name is what? Name. Whereas value which I have stored in that variable is what? Sheriff. Okay. And one thing you should keep it in mind. So string index is always start from what? 0. It is always start from what? 0. Okay. 0, 1, 2, 3 like that. So this is how we can make a variable as what? A string in Python. Whereas in order to print a string, so I think Sir, Madam has mentioned this print function in a previous session. So we're going to use what? Print function in order to print variable content. Okay. Here s is what? The variable, right? S is what? The variable. So I already make that as what? A string variable by initializing this string into s. Okay. So now if I'll print this s, so it's going to print whatever the string which is given in this double quotes. So if I'll print what? Name, it's going to print what? So this string which is written in this double quotes. So we can use what? A single quote or double quote. So both are same. Okay. So I'll make a move and I'll show you how this string will exactly works. Okay, a equals hi. Okay. Hello. So now the variable a becomes what? String data type variable, because I'm going to initialize that a with a hi hello within double quotes. Okay. So now I want to print this a means. So within this print, I have to pass this argument a. So if I'll enter, you can see that. So whatever the string I have given in this double quotes, so you can see that same thing here in the output. Okay. Next, so we can whatever the string which you are written within this double quotes, so it won't accept enter character in that string. Okay, so if you want to print multiple lines, multi-line strings, so we should use what? Either so 3 single quote or 3 double quote quotation mark. So as I mentioned here, so you can see here, so I have given more, I have used what? 3 single quote quotation mark here. So and again otherwise 3 double quote and 3 double quote quotation mark. So string is surrounded by what? 3 quotation mark. So either I can use what? A single quote or double quote, but I have to use what? In 3 times. Okay. So now whatever the text which is written within this 3 quotes, it will be print as it is. So you can see that in our output. Okay, so this is what the output. So in both the cases, we'll get the same thing. So I had given what enter after my name, right? So that's why in output also you can able to see that in a different line. Okay. So I want to print multiple lines of string. So then I have to write within triple quotes. It may be single or double quote. Okay. Next one, which is similar to what array. String is what which is similar to what array. So those who are familiar with C and C++, they may know this string. So actually, string is what character array we can call. Okay. So here also we can use that as what array. I want to print first letter means I have to write what index. So as we already know that. So how to write an index for an array means. So I have to write within square bracket. So whatever the index value which you're going to specify within this square bracket, so it's going to fetch that index letter and it's going to print this print statement. So this was the example. So this was the example. So if I'm going to print what a of 1 for the given text hello, so it's going to print e. Why so? So I'm given what y 1 here, right? Still I'm getting what the second character here. Why? Can anybody?
Index starts from 0.
Yes, index start from 0. Thank you. So index start from what? 0. That's why you can able to print what the second character e in the output, even though I have specified what 1 here. So you can see that in output. So if I'll give what print of a of 1. So here in the string, so with the letter we had in the first position at the index 1, it is a. So that's why we can able to see that. So a. Can you able to see my screen, that the output which I'm executing here?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So next. So this is what to print a single character in a string, right? Okay. So like that, we can print multiple characters. That means range of characters in a string. Okay. So range of characters. So how to print a range of character means here we need to give from where to where I need to print. Okay, one is start index, another one is end index. Start index and end index, and those two indexes are separated with a colon in between. So here in this example I had given what a of 1 to 5. So one thing you should keep it in your mind here. So it is starting from 1 till 5 by excluding 5. It won't print the fifth index character here. Okay, so it will start from 1 till 5. That's it. So you can see that. I'll show you that in an example. Okay, before to that I had this output here. So you can see here. So at the first position I have E, second position L, third position, third index is what L. At the fourth index I have what O. So and in the fifth position I had what 5 here. So anyhow that space you couldn't able to see, that I will show it in output. So you can see here print a of 1:6. Okay, 1:6. Now if I'll run this, so you can see here the index of A is what 1. The index of H is what 0. So it won't print that H because it is start from what 1. Since it is starting from 1, it is printing what A, second index I, so till 6. Is it right? So you can see that 1, 2, space is also a character, 3, and again H, 4, and 5. Okay, so it won't print what the 6th index, even though I have mentioned that 1:6, so it won't display what the 6th index character. So how that range function is working means, that range index is working means, including first index where it is starting from, by excluding the 6th one till 6. Okay, by excluding the 6th one second index, so till 6 it's gonna print. Is it clear? Is it clear? Okay. Yes, I had given what? Yes. Oh, okay. So I had given what from 1 to 6, but it won't print what 6th index character yellow here. Okay. So this is how this range function works. So that means including first index character till 6 by excluding 6th character. I mean 6th index character it's gonna print. So including first and excluding second index from where to where. Okay. So slicing from the start. Okay. So this is what how we can use the range function in order to give what we can use what this colon and two pair of values in order to print from where to where and all, right? So I want to print from beginning itself. I have to print that from starting itself. So in order to print that from the start index, so I have to give colon 5. Okay, in the index, I have to specify only what end index, not the start index. If you are not given what start index in this print function, so it will start from what starting index. You can see that in our output. So print a of, I won't give any number over here directly. I'll give what colon 6. So that means so it's gonna print from the starting hello. So in that hello he will be print. So it won't print what L. Why? Because so that L index is what 6. As I already mentioned, so it will consider the first index, but it won't consider the last index. It by excluding 6 till 6 it's gonna print. Okay, so like that. So can anyone tell me? I want to print till last means till end. What could be the print statement? Yes. Print a of. I have to mention first index here 3, right? So I should not give what the second end index over here. Is it right? Okay. Okay. So now if I give like this, so from the third index, it's going to print till the end of the string. Okay, till the end of the string, it's going to print. You can see here. So from the third, as I've already told you that it will start from 0, right? 0, 1, 2. It won't print this. So, but it is printing space here. You can see that space here before hello. So till the end, it will print it. So why? Because I have not mentioned end index over here. That's why. So it's going to print the characters till at the end of the string. Okay. So this is what from the start, and this is to the end. To the end. So here the string which I have given is what hello world. So that's why you can able to see that from the 7th index. So that is from W. Okay, from W to the end of the string. Okay. So is it clear? Is there any doubt till now which I have discussed? Okay. So here we are printing what yes. Anybody have a doubt? Okay, shall I move next? Okay. So this printing range or range of characters in the string is what we call it as slicing. Okay. So slicing from the start and slicing from the end. So in this all this example I had given what positive values, right? Excuse me. So I had given what positive values here. So whereas we can also use what negative values. So what's the difference between positive value and negative value means? So positive values always it is always start from left to right, whereas from whereas negative values start from what right to left. So that means positive from start to end, from left to right. Whereas negative value is nothing but what? From end to start, from right to left. So that you can see here. So negative value is, anybody have a doubt? Yes, anybody have a doubt?
No.
Okay, fine. So here I had given what -6 and -2. So -2 is nothing but it will start from the end. So obviously the first index is what always 0. So the last character, so that is exclamatory character. So that has index 0, -0, and -1 is what D, and -2 is what L. Okay, so -2 is what L, and here you can see here we are printing the character from the end to start, right? End to start. Whereas when we are printing from left to right, it won't consider the end index. Here it is reverse. So that means we are printing from -6 to -2. So it will print till -6. It won't print -6 index. It is reverse. Okay, it is reverse. So you can see here. So I will show you that in a example. Okay. Print A of -2 colon -3. Sorry, I have to give what reverse. -3 colon -2. -2. So that means it's going to print only one character starting from -2. Minus is nothing but, so it is counting from what? Reverse order, from right to left. So -2 is nothing but, this is what the -0. So means 0. We don't have -0 and +0. So but still this is 0. So next is what? 1, and next is what? 2. So that means from 2 to -3. -3 is nothing but E, right? So it won't print E over here. So it will print only L here. You can see that in the output. It will print only L. So whereas in a positive value, it is excluding what? Second index value. Is it right? Okay. So like that, in a negative value, so it will skip that. So the first index value, that is -3. From -2 to -3 by excluding -3. Got the difference? Got the difference?
Yes.
Okay. So next, again, if you want to print from starting to end means, so A of, so without giving what first index colon -2. So it's gonna print from starting to -2 index. Okay, -2 index. So you can see that. So from starting to -2. So -2 is nothing but what? So up to HEL. Is it right? So without printing these two, so it's going to print what? L. Since it is a negative value, it's going to print this L also. Okay. So whereas if I want to print that to end of the string, to the end of the string, so -3 colon like this. So it is starting from -3. -3 is nothing but what? 0, -1, -2, and -3. Okay. So as I already mentioned, when you are using what minus value, so excluding this index from there, so till the end, because we don't have a second index here. Is that right? So till the end, it's going to print. So that you can see that LLO. That's the last 3 letters of the string. Okay. So this word, the difference between negative index and positive index. So without the first index, it will start from starting to the index which you have mentioned in second index. So slicing to the end is what? So we need not be specify what? Second index. Okay. So this is what the difference between negative index and positive index. So next we'll move on to some more modified strings. Okay, so how to modify a string? So there are many inbuilt functions. By using that we can modify the string. So very few example I have taken is what upper, lower, strip, replace, split, like that. So still we have many more, around 20 to 25 inbuilt functions are there. Okay, so that is reverse, like that. So now I'm going to explain one by one. So upper is what the function. Upper is what the function which we are going to use in order to convert the given string into uppercase. So for example, in this string which I have given is what? So here we have H capital letter and again H capital letter. All other remaining letters is what? In a small letters, right? So I want to print that in a uppercase means, so print a dot, because I'm calling this function on a. Okay, I'm calling this function on what? A. So that's why a dot upper without any arguments prior to enter. So now you can able to see that whatever the string I have given here, so it is converted to the uppercase and printing over. Okay, so like that. So again for lowercase, so a dot lowercase. Okay, so now if I'll enter, you can see that in the given string we will be having what? HH capital, right? So now it is converting that to what? A small letter H. Okay, so likewise we have different functions here, that is to remove white space. Okay, so it won't remove white space in between. Okay, and I'll show you that. Print a dot remove, sorry, it's not remove, strip. Okay, a dot strip. Now if I'll enter, you can able to see that same string. It won't remove the space in between, right? Okay, so what the strip function will do means, so for that I'm going to take one more example. A equals, so within double quotes I'm going to give what space here. So and again, hi, hello, how are you? Okay, again I'm going to give what the space at the end before closing this double quotes. Now in my string we will be having what space, 3 spaces before string start, and here also 3 spaces at the end of the string. Okay, so at the starting we have 3 spaces and at the end also we will be having what? 3 spaces. Okay, so without strip, okay, so now I'm going to print what? A. What you're getting, you can able to see this space, right? Okay, now I'll call with strip. Print a dot strip is the function I'm calling upon what? Variable a. So that's why a dot strip. Now you can able to see that the difference. So it's going to remove the spaces in the starting and at the end of the string. Here you won't able to see that string here. Okay, now here it has that 3 spaces at the end of the string. So that means strip function going to remove spaces in starting of the string and at the end of the string. Okay, so this is how that strip function will work. So and again replace, that means we need to replace one word or one character by another means, so we can able to replace that. So print. Okay, you may ask that why I'm using all this a dot a everything in print means. So you can able to see that what exactly how that function is working and all. Okay, so how that function is works and all. So that's why I'm using all this in what print, within print only. Okay, you can use that a dot strip outside the print also. So now I'm going to print what a dot remove, right? So remove. So remove means, okay. Remove means, so we need to pass two value for this. One is what value have to remove. Sorry, it's not remove. Sorry. Replace. Okay, replace. So replace. What value I have to replace, and on which what value I have to replace by what value. Is it right? So that means I have to pass what both the values. So here in this A, I have hi, hello, how are you? So I'm going to change this hello to below. So you can see that first I have to pass this hello, comma, so again below. Okay. So now you can see that hello is replaced by what? Hello is replaced by what? Below. Because I am using what this replace function, it's going to replace hello with below. So, and you have to maintain case sensitive, because okay, so you have to use same case letters over here, because it's a case sensitive. Here I had given what capital H, here also I had given what capital H, right? So if so, in argument also I have to give what same case letters. If I'll give what different one, so it won't replace that value. So I will show you that also. Print a dot replace.
The number of character.
What? Okay.
Number of characters, sir. Inside
okay.
Inside the string, number of characters.
Okay, for that, so length. A dot length. Sorry, wait a minute. So length of A. So in that within that string, we'll be having 3 spaces, right? So that also it will count. Okay, including space, it cannot count. So from double quotes to ending double quote. So that is the function which you are using is what? Length of A. Okay, the same function which we are going to discuss in list and tuples also. Okay. So okay, case sensitive. Print a dot replace. So within that string I had given what capital H, right? So now I'll give here small h, then I can able to see that the difference I with some yes. Okay, yes. So it won't replace that. Why? Because it couldn't able to find what this HA high, because it's a case sensitive. So here we have capital H, but in this argument I have passed what small h. So that's why it won't replace that high with yes. Okay. So if I'll give what same string with capital H, it's going to replace that. So let me show you that also. Control C. Control V. Now you can see that I is replaced by what? H, because it is exactly matched with what? So this high in this string. I in this string. Okay. So and again a split. So we can able to split this characters based on characters in between. So look here, print a dot split. So here I have to give what a letter where exactly I have to split that string. So if I'll split based on space, okay, if I'll split based on space, you can able to see that. So here first we'll be having what space, right? That's why here also you can able to see what space. After that, again here I have what 3 spaces. So that's why 3 spaces. So before this space, I have what I letter, word. So you can see that it has split that string based on space. If I want to split that based on what letter, we can also do that by passing that letter in between this double quotes, that is H. Now I'm going to split the string based on the character H. You can see that before H I have 3 spaces, right? So you can able to see that the 3 spaces here. So after H, AI and space again, AI space. So now I'm splitting the string based on what? The value H. So wherever H is there, so it's going to split the string according to that value. Okay. So this was a few function which I have mentioned here. We have a lot more. So that is an around of 25 inbuilt functions are there which we can use on what a string. So let's move on to what strings concatenation. So in order to concatenate, so we can use what we should use what plus symbol in Python. For example, A equals ABC, okay, and again B equals XYZ. So now if I'll print A, so it's gonna print what ABC. If I'll print what B, it's gonna print what XYZ. So C equals A plus B. A plus B. So now if I'll print the C, you can able to see that ABC XYZ. Okay, so it's gonna concatenate 2 strings. So we can concatenate by using what? Just a plus symbol. So and again we can also print this by using the directly by passing this A plus B within print itself. Okay. In between, I want to print space. Okay, I want to print what? Space. A is what? A string variable. B is what? String variable. In between, I want to print what space? That space is what? User string. Space is what? User string. So wherever you want to print user string and variable together, you need to concatenate that by using what? Plus symbol. So for example, print A plus within double quotes. So I'm going to give what? Space, again plus, again B. So now you can see that. So you can able to see that space in between what? 2 string. Okay. So your space is also character. And whatever the user string, we should put that within what? Double quotes, and whatever the variable value which we need to print, so we can directly pass that onto what? Our print function. Okay, so this is how we can concatenate by using what? Plus symbol. So next one is string format. So in a string format, in C, we have seen what within printf we are using %d, %f and all. Is it right? So what it is, %d, %s and all. It's a format specifier, right? It's a format specifier. So that means in that place, so whatever the argument I am passing in that printf, it's gonna print. So in the format specifier place, is it right? Okay. So that is printf. It doesn't work here, but still, in order to explain, I had given what? I'm typing here. Okay, value equals %d and val. Okay, here in place of this %d, it's gonna print the value, actual value which is stored in val. Is it right? Okay. So in the same way, here also we can use what format specifier, and the format specifier is like this. So double flower braces, open and close flower braces instead of %d, %c like that. So here we're going to use what? Flower braces. So here you can see that age is of type integer. Since even though I'm not mentioned any data type here, so depending on the value which you are going to store on this variable, so on this variable, it will treat that age as what? Integer, whereas text is what? my name is John, I am plus age. Okay, so this is not possible with Python. In Python, this is not possible. Why? Because yes. So why? Because it doesn't allow to concatenate two different data types. One is string, another one is number, right? So it doesn't allow in the Python. Whereas in order to concatenate, so we must use like this. So you can see that second example. So your age equal to 36 and text equal to what? So my name is John and I am, okay. So in place of age, I am using what here? Format first var. So in this place, it's going to print age. Okay, it's going to print age. So for that, I have to use what this format function. Okay, on what? Text. Text is what? String. Okay, on text string, I'm calling this format specifier and I'm passing what the argument age. So that means in place of this format specifier, it's going to print what? Age. Able to see that, output. Sorry. Okay, so now you can see that print. I'm talking about the format specifier, right? Okay, so I'm just going to append some value after this ABC. Okay, so before to that, I have to take some value d equal to 10. D equal to 10. Enter. Now d is of type what? Integer, because I have assigned what? 10 for that. So now if I want to print A equals ABC, and I'm giving a space, and again I'm giving what two flower braces. That means in place of that flower braces, whatever the argument I'm passing, so that's gonna print. So in print A dot format, so I have to pass what the argument. So here I'm going to pass what B. So enter ABC space. In place of this open and close flower braces, you can able to see what? 10 here. Okay. So this is how we can format the string by using what format function. Okay. So can we pass different number of arguments for this format function? Yes, we can pass. So that I will explain in the next slide. Okay, here you can see that. So there are three format specifiers are there. So that means I need to send what? 3 arguments. Here one format specifier, second format specifier, and the third one. And in the argument, I pass what? 3 values. Is that right? And all 3 values are different. 2 are what? Integer, and 1 is what? Floating point number. So that means in the first place, it's going to print what quantity? What is the quantity? What is the quantity? 3. So I want 3 pieces of items. Item 567. Okay, 567 for $49.95. Okay, this is how it's going to print. If I want to change the order of this argument means, so then I have to put the argument value here. So 2 means in this 2 place, it's going to print what? Price. Why? Because in our argument we had that 3 arguments. It will start from what? 0. Next one is what? 1, and next one is what? 2. Okay. So that means the second argument, that the index second argument will be print in this place. Okay. So otherwise it's going to print like this. So first one in the first place, second one is what? Second, and third one is what? Third place. So this is how it works, the same as what format specifier in C language. Okay. Okay, fine. Are there any doubts till now? Is there any doubt? Okay, this is what about the string. So let's move on toward a list. Let's move on toward list. So I'm going to skip this few slides. So what is data all, so that I'm going to skip. Okay. So far we have studied what string. As I already mentioned, the string is what sequence of characters, whereas list is what sequence of objects. Okay. Objects means what? Object means anything. It might be what integer value, or it might be what string. It might be list also. That means I can store list within a list, and again we can store what tuple within a list, and again we can store what set or dictionaries within list. I can store any sort of data or data structure within list. Okay. How to define what list in Python means? I have to take a variable name. Here I have taken what list name equal to item 1, item 2, item 3 up to item n. If it is an integer, I need not be mentioned double quotes, whereas if it is what string, then I have to mention that within double quotes. So in example, I had given what my list equals what apple, banana, and cherry. All those strings, all those items are what strings, right? That's why I have written what that in within double quotes. Okay. So next, here also in Python list, in that list also will be having what index. Why? Because the list, string, and again tuple all are what ordered sequence of objects. Ordered sequence. So that means all the values are associated with what index. As usual, index will be start from what 0. Okay, 0, 1, 2, 3 like that. So you can able to see that the first value is what integer. That's why I'm not putting any quotes and all. So directly I can specify what value within that. So and the second one is what? It's a string. That's why. So I put that within quotes. Again, third one is floating point number. Again, there is no need of double quotes over that, or double quotes or single quote. Whereas the third one is I'm passing list as an object for the list only. Okay. So and in the third index, but actually it's the fourth element in the list. Is it right? Okay. Third index element is what? Again, it's a list. In that list also we had what 3 items. So 30, 60, and 90. So that means we can store any sort of data within list. Okay. And again, it's ordered. That means it will associated with what index, and it is changeable. That means mutable. Heterogeneous. I can store different data types, and it can contain duplicate. So as I already mentioned, so here we don't have any key or unique elements need to be stored. So that's why it's a unique. Okay. So these are all the methods which we can use on list. One is append, clear, copy, count, extend, index, insert, pop, remove, reverse, and sort. Okay. So these are all the different methods. We'll go with one by one. So this is what the example. First list is what the collection of characters. Sorry, string. Is it right? Collection of items. All those items are what of type string. Whereas the second one is a collection of items. That item type is what integer. And the third one is what Boolean type. It's a Boolean type. It's not a string. That's why I'm not using any double quotes over there. Okay. True, false, false. It's a Boolean type. And the fourth list is what? So it's a mixed. So that means it's a heterogeneous. So first one is string, next one is number, like that. So we can store any sort of data within list. From Python, okay. I will go with this ID now to make you understand this type. Now, A is already defined. I'm going to take what L equal to list. So within that list, I'm going to type 23, 45, 67 like that. Okay. So now L is what the list, which has 3 items, 23, 45 and 67. Here I had what A, which is what string. Is it right? A is what string, B is what string, and L is what list. How you going to how you come to know that L is what list, or C is what string and all? So for that, so we have a type function. So you can see that A dot type type of A. Print type of A. Okay, so you can see that the type is what? String. Is it right? Because A is what? It's a collection of characters. So likewise, print. Now I have defined this L here, right? What is the L? I know that. In program, how to check that? So what's the type of that L and all? Because when you are written what thousands or 10,000 lines of code, so I can't able to trace what actually L is and what type it is and all. Is it right? So in that case, so we can use this function. So type of L. Now you can see that. So this will belong to what class called list. So that means L is of type what? List. So for that we had this type function. So you can see here. So we had this type function. So for that I need to pass what argument. Okay, in order to know which type of data it is. Next, so we can store what duplicate values. So as I already mentioned, there is no key value here. So we can store what duplicate values here. So next, length. So that means how many variables are there in that list and all. So in order to know that, we need to take what print len length of L. L is what list, right? So now I'm finding what the length of the list. So how many elements are there? If you are counting index, it is different. So index will be ended from starting from 0 to ended with 2, 0, 1, 2. But how many elements are in that list means it is 3. Got it? Length of L is what? 3. So length of this list is what? 3. Okay. So this is what the function which you are using in order to measure what length of any type. You can use the same function for string, list, and again for tuples also. Okay, we can use the same function. So now I'll make a change for this L equals 23, 34. Sorry, list, right? List should be within square bracket. So 23, 34, 56, 78, again 23, 56, okay, again 23. So now how many 23s are there in a list? How many 23? The value 23 is in the list?
3 times.
3 times. Is it right? Okay. So here, so L dot count of, okay, I had to use what L dot count of 23. So that means I'm checking how many times that 23 has appeared in that list L. Okay, that's why I'm calling this function count on L. L is what? A list. Is it right? Okay, now if I'll enter, you can able to see that. So again, we are getting what 3. So that means in a given list, so that 23 appears thrice. Okay, 23 appears thrice. Okay, so this is what the count function. So in order to know how many times the given value has appeared in the given list. Okay. So next one is what? Index. Index. So again, we can call that on what? List. Control C, Control V. So here I'm going to give what? 78. So now I want to check what is the index number of 78 in a given list L. So for that, index is the function. I have called that function on what? List L, and I'm looking for what? 78. What is the index of 78 in the list L? Okay. So if I'll enter, so it is given what? 3. So what is the index of 78 in the given list? So index is always start from what? 0, right? 0, 1, 2, and 3. Okay. So what if I'll give what? The index of 23, because 23 has appeared in my list thrice, right? Okay, what it will give? So let me see that. So it is 0. That means, so even though that 23 has appeared multiple times in your list, so it's going to fetch the index of the first appearance. Okay, first appearance in the of that 23. Sorry, first appearance of that item 23 in a given list. So where it is in index 0. That's why you can able to see that it's a 0. Whenever it is a unique element, it's going to fetch the index of that element. Otherwise, it's going to fetch what? The first appearance in the list. Okay. So next one, this list. Now, so like an array, we can also able to print what? First or second item just by using what? Index. Okay. So example is what? Print within that L of 1. L of 1. So that means it's going to print what? First index value. What is the first index value? 34. Okay. You can able to see that 34. Okay, so like an array, we can use what? List also, because all the values within the list are associated with what? Index. So that how you're going to handle that string as an array of characters, like that here we can handle this list is what? It's a array of objects. There it is array of characters, here it is what? Array of objects. That's it. So object might be anything. So it might be integer, character, a string, whatever it may be. Okay. So like that, here we can use what? Index value in order to print the object. Okay, here I would use what? 2 here, right? So I'm going to give what? 5. So now you can see that 56. So at the index 5, we had that 56. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. Now, can anyone tell me? I want to print what? Range of values. How are you going to print? Same like a string. L of what? Square bracket. I have to print range of values from that mean index 1 to 5. 1 to 5.
1 colon 5. 1 colon 6.
1 colon. Okay, 1 colon 6. Good.
6. 1 colon 6.
Okay, good. So 1 colon 6. So because it is excluding what? The last index, right? So that's why we need to print what?
1 plus.
We need to type what? 1 to 6. What? 1 to 6. Because I have to print from the 1 to 5. So including 5, so it won't print the 6th index. Okay, it won't print what? 6th index. So likewise, again, from starting to 4th index means, from starting to 4th index, what's the code?
0 to 5. 0 to 5.
0 to 5, that also we can use. Otherwise,
0 colon. Otherwise, minus also.
Minus, not the minus. Without giving the first index. Only colon 5. Only colon 5. So that means from the starting till 5 by excluding 5. Okay, till 5 by excluding 5. Now you can see that 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Is it right? So fifth one it won't print. So here I are not given what first index here.
Sir, can I put 0 there?
Yes, you can. You will get the same thing. Okay, I'll show you that also. 0 to 5, right? Yes. Then also you can able to get what? Same output. Okay. So again, till the end. So what's the parameter I have to pass? What's the index I have to use? I have to print what list elements till the end. L of from fifth index to till end I have to print. So that means no need to specify the second index, right? Because till end I have to print. So if I have not specified any value in this start index or end index, so it's going to take what? If I not use that first index means it is starting from 0. If I am not using what the last index means, yes. Anybody have a doubt? Anybody have a doubt? So now it's going to print from the fifth index to the last index. Got it? Okay. What about the negative value? It will work same as like a string, which we have seen for the string, right? Negative value means what? Negative values means what? Index will be starting from where?
Right side.
From right side to left side.
Yes,
okay? Sir. Yes. Print L of -5 colon -2. Okay, you can able to see that. Are you getting? -5 is nothing but what? First one is 0. Next one is -1, -2, -3, -4, and -5. Is that right? So from -5 to -2. -2 is nothing but what? So 0, 1, 2, -2. Is that right? So from 56 to 23 it's going to print. So it won't print the -5th value, -5th index, that is 34. It won't print that value. Okay. So the same thing, that range value will be work as like a string, as we already discussed. So that I'm going to skip this part. Is there any doubt in this range value or starting where from starting to some index or from index to till the end, and again negative value? Is there any doubt, or you want me to check any values which you wish to execute? Anybody? Okay, fine. So this is what the range of values, and without any, okay, this I missed, I think. Without any range value, so print L of only colon. Okay, only colon. So I have not mentioned any starting index and as well as end index. So that means it's going to print entire list, the whole list is going to print from 23 to so last 23. It's going to print the entire list, because we are not mentioned any from where it has to start, and we are not mentioned where it has to be end, right? Since we are not mentioned any of these two index, start index and end index, so it's going to print the entire list. Okay. Okay, here they are even you use what if and else and all. So I'm not into this programming concept. Just I'm going to explain how exactly it works and all. Okay. So now, if I want to modify some value, Okay, if I want to modify some value, so list of 2 equals. So that means whatever the second index, 0, 1, 2. In the second index, so what value which we have here? 56. Is it right? Now I'm going to assign with a different value, 56, 65. Okay, 65. Now if I print this L over here, so you can able to see that the 56 has been replaced by what? 65 new value. Okay, so like assignment operator, by using the assignment operator equals, so like you initialize the variable in C, so we can also initialize the particular value of the list by using index value. So that is L of 2 equals 56, that I have changed that to what? 65. That you can notice that in our output. So next one is what? So change list item, range of item values. Okay, this is to print from 1 to 3. So next 1 to 3. Now here they are initialized multiple values over here. Okay, so L of 1 is to 2. Okay, 1 is to 2 equals, they are using what string. So but here I had given what 34 I already used, 43 comma 54. So here I have initialized that second index with a 1 value, right? Here I had taken what multiple index and I have to initialize with the multiple values. Okay, so now if I print that in list, you can able to notice that the changes. So index 1 and 2 has been replaced with the value 43 and 54. You can see that. So index 1 is nothing but it's a 34, that has been changed to what? 43. And here index 2, that has been changed to what? 54, which I have given here 54. Is it right? So likewise, so we can able to change multiple values in a single assignment. The only thing is, since we have initialized the list, so we need to give this list of values in the format of list only. That means within square bracket itself. Okay, square bracket itself. So here we have mentioned what. Okay, again I'm going to take the same value, but this time I'm going to give only one value over here. Okay, instead of multiple values, I'm going to give what? Only one value, 2. So it won't take. Okay, so I'll give that same one value within the square bracket. So now it is allowing me to replace the value within the index 1 as well as within the index 2 by 54. Okay, 54 which is already there at the index 1. Now I'm going to take that as what? 4 at the total. Sorry. Okay, 4. Now so it's going to replace only one value by 4. So it won't replace the second value by 4. Why? Because even though I had given what range of values here, I had passed only one value here, right? So that's why. So it will initialize that the first index with the value. Okay, first index with the value. So likewise, we can initialize the range of values from 1:2. I had taken here. So you can use what 1:5. So in that case, I have to pass what 4 parameter for that. 1:6 means I have to pass what 5 parameter for that. I mean 5 value for that. Okay. Here I had taken what 2 values. So that's why here I had passed what here. So here I had taken what 2 values. That's why I can able to pass what 2 values over here. If I pass only 1 means, so it will initialize the first index with the value. It won't affect on what second one. Okay. So next one is insert. We can also replace the values by what using assignment operator equals, and we can also change the values of the particular index by using what insert function. So example is this is what the list just have print. This is what the content. Now I want to replace this value 65 by some other value, means sorry, it's not replacing, it is inserting. Okay, it is inserting the values in between. Now I'll print L dot insert. So on which position I have to insert, that I have to mention in the first parameter, and in the second parameter what value I have to insert. Okay, so that is 9. I'm inserting value 9. So the place at the index 2. Okay, at the index 2. Okay, just a minute. None. Insert 2 comma watermelon. Okay, L dot insert 2 comma ABC. Now I'm going to print this. So I think it doesn't work within print, so that's why it has given what none. So now you can see that. So at the index 2, so I'm inserting what ABC over here. So index 2, 0, 1, 1 and 2, right? So at the index 2, I'm inserting the new value. So that is ABC. ABC insert madidini. Next 9 kuda insert agide. Actually, yes. Sorry. Okay. So here also it has inserted 9, but it won't print that L value. Okay. So here you can see that I have inserted N at the index 2. Okay, that's why 9 also appears in this list. Again, followed by 54, 65, 78, 23, 56. 54, 65, 78, 23 and 56 and 23. Is that right? So at the index 2, I had inserted what 9 as well as ABC. So that you can see in output. So where I have to insert without changing the value, whereas in assignment it's going to change the value. So it's going to change the value where exactly we have mentioned with the index. Is it right? So L of 2 equals something, means at the index 2 it's going to replace the old value with the new value. But here it is not the case. So here what it is doing is nothing but, so it is inserting the new value. So for the between existing value. Okay, existing value. So that is what the difference between insert and assignment operator equals. Whereas append, so append means it always appends the value at the end of the list. Okay, so by using insert, I can insert the value anywhere in my list, whereas append is always going to append the value at the end of the list. So you can see that. Now I'll take the new list. Okay, 23, 45. Between I'm going to use what ABC, because it's a heterogeneous, right? I can use any sort of values. So 0.5. Okay. So now I'm close this. It's enough. Print L. So if I'll print, I'm going to get the same values which I have initialized to L here. So now if I want to append means, so print. Okay, before to print, I'm going to append that by using what L dot append. Okay. So here I need to pass what value I have to append, because append is always append that element at the end of the list, right? So that means we need not be mentioned what index. So here I'm going to write what XYZ. Okay, XYZ. enter. So now if I'll print the L value, list values, so you can able to see that XYZ at the end of the string. Sorry, at the end of the list. Got it? Is it clear? Am I fast or am I slow? Will it be okay? Because lot to discuss. So this 2 hours is not enough because I'm not even entered to a tuple itself. Okay. So next, so like that we'll be having what extend. So yes, anybody have a doubt? So extend method. So that extend method is nothing but we can extend the list by values. So the difference is append means I can able to append only the values, whereas if I'll use word extend, so I can extend so one list with the another. Okay, so that is what the difference. So here I had given what append of XYZ, right? So that means it's a single value. So likewise, L dot extend. So now I can pass what another list. Okay, sorry, it's a reverse. So I can append list by using what append function, whereas extend I can extend only with the values. So L dot append. That's the only difference between append and extend. So sorry, I think spelling mistake. Let me check once again. Extend 1 2 3 4 5 6. Yes. So we can extend list by another list. Sorry, again I made a mistake. Really point has written point here. To give what comma, right? Okay. So now I'll take the one more list 2 comma 3 comma 4 here. So L dot append with 5 comma 6 L dot extend 7 comma 8. Okay. Print L. So you can see here. So whatever the value which are appended by using what append function, so which will be treated as list only. Okay. So whatever the value which I have passed here, it's in the form of list, right? So that means I'm trying to append the list by another list. So that's why here you can able to see the difference of extending and appending. So when I'm going to extend one list by another list, so it's going to consider each of those object as object of the another one. Whereas in a append, so it will consider the whole list as what? Object. Whole list as object. Got it? So that's what the difference between append and extend. So next, so remove. I want to remove any values from that list. Means I can use what L dot remove. Here we need to specify value. Since it's an integer, so I can directly specify that value as 4. Okay. So now if I try to print that L again, so that 4 has removed from the list. Okay. So that is what. So object dot list L dot function name remove. Okay. So within that remove function, I have to mention what value I have to remove from the list. So next one is pop. So that means which value I need to print. Okay, which value I have to pop it out. So again, it is similar to what remove function only, but remove is work according to what value which we need to specify, whereas pop works based on what? Index. Okay, pop based on what? Index. That means I need to specify index value. On that index, it's going to remove that value from the list. Okay, whatever the value which is at that index, it's going to remove that from the list. So that is what the pop value. And again delete. So delete also same thing. So it's going to remove the value based on index. Okay, based on index. So this is what some examples. This dot clear means it's going to clear all the values. So here L dot clear. L dot clear. So now if I'll try to print this L, in this L, so you can able to see it's an empty list. That means whatever the value which is there in that list is everything is what? Clear. Okay. So next is what? Okay, for loop they are using sort. Okay. So L equals 4, 2, 7, 3, okay, 3. So that's enough. L dot sort. Now, if I'll print this L, so you can see that. So in which order I have given 4, 2, 7, 3, but in which order it has printing is in a ascending order. Okay. So this sort is the function which we can use in order to sort the elements of the list. The same thing is applicable for tuples also. Okay. Okay. So if I use the sort, you can see that. If I use what the sort function on heterogeneous elements, it doesn't work. Okay, it doesn't work because the compiler couldn't understand in which order it has to sort when it has what different data types. Here we have numbers as well as characters, mean string, right? So in which order it has to display, so that compiler couldn't understand. That's why for this case you will get an error. Okay, so if you want you can check it out for heterogeneous list. So if I try to sort, so you will get an what? Error. So next. So next one is what? Descending order. So I want to sort it in a descending order means. So L dot sort reverse equals true. Reverse equals true. So now if I try to print this L, you can able to notice that. So 7, 4, 3, 2. Okay, in a reverse order you know print. So just I have to use what? So L dot sort. I'm sorting the list values in a reverse order. Okay, otherwise, so it's gonna sort it in what? Ascending order. Ascending order. Okay. So next, by default it's a ascending order. Okay, and it's a case sensitive. For example, here you can see that there are a collection of objects. First one is start with what B, and second one is what O, and third one is what capital letter K, and last one is what? So C, small letter, right? So it's gonna sort the elements, and it can also consider what case of that letter. So first it's gonna sort all the elements which are start with the capital letter first. So that's why you can able to see even B come first. So it's going to display what? Kiwi first. Why? Because so K is in what? Capital letter, whereas B is in what? Small letters. Okay. So while sorting string, so it will also consider what case letters, whether it is a capital letter or lowercase letter. Next. So next one is what? Reverse. So like we already used what reverse equal to true, right? So likewise we can also use what reverse function in order to sort. So print L. Now you can see. So I've already sorted in a reverse order. Again, I'm reversing that order. Okay. So again, I'm going to reverse that by using this reverse function. Control V, enter. Now I'm going to print L. Okay. Now you can able to see that. Okay. So this order I had reversed. That's why you can see that in ascending order. Again, if I'll reverse that, so you can able to see that it's a a descending order. Okay. Okay. Next one. This is used to copy one list to another list. Okay. So this is to copy one list to another list. So and the old values of the first list is replaced by what second list. And next one is what join. So join is nothing but it's a concatenation like a string. Here we are using what plus operator in order to concatenate one string with another string. Same thing. Extend. This I already told you. So this is what some examples we have discussed. So next I'll quickly move on toward tuples because we are running out of time. If possible, okay, I can finish it up within 5. Okay. So now you see that just now we have discussed what list. List is what a collection of objects. Tuples is also a collection of objects, whereas the difference between list and tuple is what both are ordered only, but one is mutable, another one is immutable. So tuple is immutable, whereas list is what mutable. That means we can change any data within that list, whereas in tuple we can't. So and what about this? Why we need this kind of data structure in our Python program? Means somewhere we need to make some standard, and we doesn't want to allow user to change those values. Okay, so in that particular case we can use this tuples. Okay, tuples or tuples. So this is how you're going to do pronouns, because for every 20 kilometers, so that pronunciation is vary, right? Okay, tuples or tuples. Some people were pronounce it as what tuples. Okay, fine. So like list, tuples are used to store multiple items in a single variable. Tuple is a collection of it's a ordered and unchangeable. Okay, so that's why it's a immutable. And tuples are written with a rounded braces. That means common bracket. So that's the difference in syntax. Whereas in a list we are using square bracket, right? Whereas in tuples we are using what? Common bracket. Okay. So here you can see that if I print this tuples, okay, and I'll take execute. T equals, which bracket are supposed to use? Common bracket or square bracket for tuple? Yes. Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So tuples. Tuples can be declared by using what? Rounded braces. So that is what the syntactical difference between the tuples and list. Okay. So now again here also, to the same sort we can print this T here. So when we are printing tuples, sorry, when you are printing the list, you can see that the elements are displayed within square bracket, whereas in the tuples it is displayed within rounded bracket. That means common bracket. Okay. Here also we can use what index T of 1, the same thing. So same thing here. So T of 1 means index is always start from 0. The first index is going to print, that is 45. So and again we can also print what range of values, as we already discussed again and again, that the range of values is 1 to 2. Okay, and to close square bracket before common bracket. Now you can see that. Okay, so 1 to 2 is nothing but, so excluding 2. Is it right? Excluding 2. And the thing which you have to observe is what? So you can see one extra comma over here. Whereas in list I couldn't get that extra comma there. So that's the difference between the tuples and list. So you're gonna get what? Some one extra comma there. So again, Again, the same thing which we are discussed with list and string. So the same thing could be applicable for here also. So without mentioning the first value means it's going to print from the starting to the mention the second index. Okay. So from where I have to start, I didn't mention anything. That means it will start from 0. And where it has to end, 2, by excluding 2. Is it right? By excluding 2. So that means it's going to print 0 and 1. So likewise, the same thing. So without the second index, it's going to print till the end of the tuple. And without any index means, without any index, only colon. Only colon.
All the values.
Yes, it's going to print what? All the values. Thank you. We're going to print all the values in this tuple. Same thing which we are discussed for the string and tuples. So it's list. So it will be applicable for tuples also. Negative value, same. Everything is what same. Okay, sorry. Okay. So even though we have so many similarities, we'll also have a difference. So what is this? What do you mean by, so what is the difference between list and tuples is nothing but, so list is what mutable, whereas tuple is what immutable. Iteration. So while doing iteration, list works slower than tuple. Tuple works faster than list. List is slower than tuple. So appropriate for. So when we can use what list and when we can use tuple means, so list, when we want to insert and delete the values from the list, from the collection of objects, then list is what the good one to choose. Whereas tuples is nothing but, so it is unchangeable. Is it right? So since it's unchangeable, wherever the read-only operations we need to do, so there we can choose what tuples. Whereas memory consumption, list occupies more memory than tuple. Okay. So and again method, again both are what inbuilt method only. So on list, since we can modify the values, so we'll be having what more number of methods which we can call on what list. So than tuples, because we can't change the tuples values, right? Tuple values, so that we can't use all the methods which we can use on list onto tuple, because so we can't change the values. Okay, we have less number of inbuilt methods which we can call on what tuple. So next one is error prone, whereas in a list, so list operations are more error prone. That means we can there is a possibility of error may come with a list. Why? Because we allowed user to change the values, right? So in that case, there might be chances of occurring what errors. Whereas in tuples, we don't come with that circumstances. Why? Because it doesn't allow user to change the value. And so after all differences, as we already discussed, even though we have some similarities, so both the data structure can collect what heterogeneous types of data. That means we can store any sort of data in list as well as in tuple. Okay, so item of any data type can be stored, and item can be accessed by their index. So by using index, we can access what data in tuple also. That same thing. Even after we have a difference, so we will be having what some similarities which are already discussed. And the difference in syntax is what list can be declared with list items can be right within square bracket, whereas tuple item will be stored in what common bracket. Okay, so this is what the example. Wherever you want me to execute, please do tell me, because we are running out of time. Anyhow, in the slides, I'll be having what both example as well as output. Okay. So this is what the tuple. If I'll print the tuple, I'm going to get the same value again. So length function. So length function, in order to find how many elements are there in the tuple and all. So whereas in a list we have called that. Okay. So in list is string, and in a tuple. So I have to call that length of the tuple name I have to pass. So here the tuple name is what? Tuple name is what?
3.
This tuple, is it right? So length of tuple is what? 3, because we have 3 elements here. We had 3 elements.
Sir, what are the function we are not using in tuple?
We can't append it because we can't insert elements into this tuple, right? Because it's
Only insert and append. That two function only
no,
cannot use.
we can also not use what delete, remove,
And
right? Replace.
Okay.
So
reverse.
what are all the function which is allow us to do some changes within that list? That functions which we can't use with the tuple. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So this is what the length function, and here you can see that how to initialize the tuple with a single value means. So at least I need to put one extra comma here, so that it will show it as what tuple, because I've used one extra comma. So here if I have not put any one extra comma here, this is only for single value initialization. Okay, only for tuple with a single element, that means one item. Okay, so this is not the case with the if you're going to initialize the tuple with the multiple values. If you have 2 or more values, you need not be write this comma extra over here. When we have only one item, so then we're supposed to write 1 comma extra here. Okay, so if I'm not using what comma here. So if I try to run this, it will treat that as what? String. It will not treat as what? Tuple. Even though I have written that in a square common bracket, so it won't treat that as what? It won't treat that as what? Tuple. It will treat that as what? String. Okay. So this is what the output for first one, that is tuple, and the second one I have not put a comma here, right? So that's why it is treat that tuple. I mean that variable as what? String type. Okay. So next, so tuple items. So we can initialize the tuple with a multiple heterogeneous values. That means so only characters, only numbers, or mixed, or boolean, whatever. Okay. So that means we could have what heterogeneous collection of items. So next, that's what we can use what different data types, heterogeneous. So if I execute the type function on this tuple, so it's gonna give what? Class tuple. Okay. So whereas for the list, you can have observed that. Okay, here I'm going to print that. So type of T. Type of T. So here you can see that it is tuple. Whereas long back, previous, we have executed the same type for tuple also. There you are getting what? Tuple. Is that right? If it is string, it will give what? str. So like that. So we can also construct a tuple by using a constructor. I'm not discuss this thing because this constructor will be covered in the next session by Somsekhar sir. Okay. So access tuple items. As I already mentioned, we can access the tuples item by using what? Index 1, -1, range of values by 2, 3. That means starting from 2 to 5. 2 to 5 by excluding 5. Okay. The same thing. And here. Yes. So it doesn't allow me to append or delete values from the tuple, whereas so it can allow us to change the values, because down the line the same plan, for example, I'm going to take some example. What about the tax? Will it be same for every year? It may get changed after 5 years of 5-year plan. Is it right? Yes. Or it may be changed by government at any time. So on budget, they may change that tax and all. So if I'm using that tax as what tuples here, So one is GST, another one is normal tax and all. So if I'll use different kinds of tax in these tuples, different types of taxes in tuples, so it may change, right? In that case, I have to change the tuple value. I can't append it, but I can change the value. Okay. Okay. Let me finish it fast. Okay, so we can use what asterisk in order to initialize the normal variable with the tuples. You can see here, so green, tropic, and red. So all are what fruits. Oh, sorry, I think somewhere I've changed that. Okay, let me see. Because this I have skipped in last topic, that is printing tuple items or list items by using for loop. Okay, so here we have this tuple with the 3 items: apple, banana, and cherry. Is that right? I have to print one by one means, so I can use what for loop. So either I can use what index, or I can use X in this tuple. So I'm printing X over here. Okay, I'm printing X over here. In each for loop, in each iteration, so it's gonna print so one value after another one. So you can able to see that output. First it's gonna print what apple. So in a first iteration, X points to where? Apple. So that's why. So it's gonna print apple first. And in the next iteration, X will be pointed to what? A banana. So that's why it's gonna print what? Banana. Next is what? Cherry. So we can also use what? While and do while loop. Okay. So here we can concatenate two tuples, as I already mentioned, by using what? Plus symbol. By using a plus symbol, so we can concatenate what? Two tuples. So and what about here? Into 2 means here you can see that. So I'm using what? Star 2. Is it right? Star 2. So that means, so it's gonna print. It's gonna multiply the same thing twice. Okay, same thing twice. So that means apple, banana, cherry, and again it's going to repeat the same thing, apple, banana, cherry, and it's going to initialize that values to my tuple. And if I'll print that my tuple, so you can able to see that the same set of values as printed twice: apple, banana, cherry, and apple, banana, cherry. Okay. So that's it for today's session. So do you have any doubt?
Thank you very much, Sarath sir, for the detailed and elaborate presentation on the sequence data types in Python. I hope the audience have made use of this wonderful presentation. I request the participants to post the questions in the question message box or unmute and there are
any queries or any questions?
Participants can unmute and ask the questions if there are any. All right, I believe that there are no questions, sir. Thank you once again, sir.
Thank you, sir.
And participants, kindly fill in the feedback in the link provided. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Meet again tomorrow, 2 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you.